My chosen activity for today is the lesson plan Atomic Structure for 8th grade science, and it works as an activity or lesson plan as well as an assessment with formative assessments. The technology that I used is Nearpod, and this makes it accessible to both in-person learners and online learners, whether you're meeting synchronously or asynchronously. So this particular lesson, I'm just going to preview it, and you can go through it and edit it if you need to. It goes through, starts them off with a pre-assessment, gets a feel of where they're going, they go through and they answer these questions, and then it goes into the lesson. It has these formative assessments throughout, these questions that they answer in order to know it. It also has a video where it stops in the middle of the video at these points, these blue points, asks them more questions. There's a lot of review, there's a lot of formative assessments, and then there's new information given. And what this allows us to do is create future lessons based off what the students have learned, as well as address misconceptions as they are happening in an in-person class. So, say for instance we are meeting synchronously over Zoom, or if it's a totally in-person class, then I can address those misconceptions right then, or if it is asynchronous and they are doing it on their own, I can know what needs to be addressed. Like I said, this is continuing it, just going through the lesson and having them give me a feel of how they feel the lesson went. And this is actual practice that they had. And they would have to write down the answer. And it even gave a link to a simulation game to where they continued to build their own atom. And then a final, how do you feel based on the lesson at the end? As I mentioned before, that this can be through live participation. You can do it in class, or you can do it through in-class and Zoom, or you can do it student-based. What happens whenever you hit student-based is it gives you a code that you can share with your students, and you can set the time that they have to do it. Like if they have to do it in 7 days, if they have 30 days to do it, if you want it done in 7 days, but maybe you want to give them an extra amount of time, you might set it for 10 days or something, but give them a due date. The benefits continue to come, not just with at that time being able to address misconceptions, but also reports for later on. So you can go into reports anytime you have a lesson. I have one lesson that I've done with this, a session, and it shows you the student participation, how many people were answering, and the answers they were giving as well as they were correct or not, or if they just didn't answer. And then it also gives you the kids' names or nicknames. They can put anything in there. That's up to the teacher's discretion if they want to put real names there, or if they want to allow their students to pick names, or if they have names already created for them for instances like Nearpod. So that is my chosen activity, and the reason I believe Nearpod really shows it is its versatility in being able to be in person or online, synchronous or asynchronous. And this chosen technology is open access, so I don't have to worry about them having a certain account or something. All they need is to have the lesson code that they would just put up here, join a lesson, type the code in, jump into the lesson, and it'll send it back to me in the reports. Or we can do it in real time. Either way, I will have a report over it. This has a lot of benefits as far as being a good form as a teaching lessons or formative assessment, or as just an extra resource. If you want to give them information that way, it's very versatile in its use. Risk could be that the obvious ones of students not having access to technology or not having internet access, because like most technology used in education now, it does require internet access. I know when I learned about Nearpod, I was really excited in its uses, and yeah, I was pretty nervous about creating my first lesson on it, but I know that afterwards I had a lot of fun, and it's something that I definitely want to use in my class. So this is why I chose to emphasize Nearpod.